Any moment, we're going to find out what the charges are in the shooting case of Charlie Kirk. The suspect, I guess they're going to come out and announce what they're charging him with. And then, of course, we saw the Mangione that dropped the terrorism charge. That was the big one as far as the death penalty, right? If I'm correct. So it's just, man, it's a weird time out there. Several of you chiming in about mad at me for numerous things, but that's okay. I expect that. What did you say earlier, Bill? I'm done.
Yeah, I just closed the text line. I can't deal with that level of idiocy at a certain point.
It's just frustration.
So many people that are just, they claim to be limited small government people until the Republicans are doing it. And then it's like, oh, we need more of that.
Yeah. Somebody said you can't drop the F-bomb on the air without consequences. True, except for I'm free to say it, and I'm not going to go to jail for it.
That's the thing.
That's the thing.
The company could come right along and fire you for doing it, but the government can't put you in prison.
Yeah. And that's the point. She's talking about handcuffs on people. Listen again to what Pam Bondi said. Apparently, she's the AG of the United States of America.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone.
What? That's cuffs. It's a different thing. Again, even the horrible things that people said about Charlie. People are allowed to say those things. It may frustrate you. It's rage bait.
And there's so many people out there that are conflating entirely, trying to incite violence with saying harsh, unlikable, mean, gross things.
Yeah. There is that. I mean, there is a different getting out there and trying to, on the bullhorn, raising hell, trying to say we're going to raise an army and go attack these people and beat these people. That is a different thing than saying, hey, I think Charlie was this, this, and this, or I think you're this, this, and this. I mean, it's funny. The same people are like, oh, you're the worst. You shouldn't be on this radio station. You're awful. You're horrible, blah, 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 blah. And you'll say mean things about me. I would always defend your right to say those things. But if somebody, like you said, Bill, if somebody says something that they don't agree with, they want that gun. Everybody, it's like spending and all this stuff. We all want it our way. This isn't McDonald's, baby.
When we do it, it's good. When they do it, it's bad.
Bad. No, we got to protect free speech. Because without free speech, you guys wouldn't have been able to criticize Biden. Remember when he tried to have the misinformation secretary?
The Bureau of Misinformation or something like that?
Oh, my goodness.
We'll tell you what's right and what's wrong.
That right there was insane. Were you guys thrilled by that? Hell no. That was...
Well, but if the Republicans do it, that's okay.
Yeah. No, it can't be that way. We need to have it always, and it always needs to be protected. 100%. Because we cannot live in a country where we just kind of want to obey some stuff here, but not stuff there, and maybe a little bit over here, but not that, but only if our side's doing it. Because that's a lot of what I see from a lot of people is this world of, we're only going to do it once kind of thing. And no, we need to be able to have speech as horrible as it is at times. As horrible as
that doesn't mean you get to incite a violence. There is a difference. And if you can't understand that, you really need to rethink your thought process.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, somebody said, hey, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. That's the truth. Right?
Well, sometimes the process is not very pretty.
No. No. The process isn't always, it's like the making of the hot dog, right? We all like a hot dog. Nobody wants to see how the sausage is made and the hot dog's made.
Best way to go is in your sleep by a massive heart attack.
Yeah.
Either that or a brain aneurysm in your sleep.
Man, you're really going with all, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's no suffering.
Well, like today,
It's just boom, it's done.
Like today, we were talking about Robert Redford died, right? He was 89, peaceful. I mean, most people take that life, you know? Most people take 89 years like that. Woo!
As long as you're in your own home.
Yeah. You don't want to be like, what was it? Who died in New Mexico? What was his name?
Gene Hackman.
Yeah, you don't want that where you're laying on the floor
No.
for 3 days waiting for the dogs to eat you, but you don't know what's going on because you got dementia.
And you couldn't remember your own name for the last 6 months.
Yeah, that's that. You don't want that.
It's all about quality of life, man.
Super quality of life. I mean, that is an important thing right there. Because just because we live long, like we eat worse than we've ever eaten, but we live longer than ever before. It has nothing to do with the fact that we've just been. It's because we can extend our lives. We can totally extend our lives. So yeah, you're right.
Remember how the Pooter and she talked about extending
Yeah,
lives?
well, that's right. But you know what? They're talking about, the whole thing with the kidneys and whatnot. And I keep telling everybody, you guys laugh at me, but if you had a chance to sell your kidney for $250 or $1 million, get yourself and your family out of debt, you'd think about that.
$250 million?
No, $250 to $1 million.
Oh,
What about an eyeball? You only need one of those.
Well, they don't have to do that. Do you see that thing now where they sew the tooth into your eye?
What?
Oh, you haven't seen that?
No, what are you talking
about? Oh my God, you guys hit it. Okay, so they're doing this. They're doing this new surgery thing. It's a rare tooth and eye surgery, and it's restored a man's vision. So I can't believe you didn't hear this. So this guy, he took too much ibuprofen during Christmas in a basketball game, a drug he'd never taken before. He's 13. Next thing you know, he fell into a coma, severe reaction, had all these issues. 50 surgeries trying to save his eye. They did cornea transplants, all this stuff. So they did this thing with the tooth, right? It's called tooth and eye, where it involves moving a patient's tooth, sewing a piece of it onto the cheek, and placing the structure into the eye.
What does that do? I mean, how does the tooth have anything to do with the eye?
I do wonder, like, how did you get to that portion of the...
I mean, what's next? They're going to take one of my big toes and stick it in my ear so I can hear?
That'd be interesting.
That would be. You'd have athletes here. That'd be weird, too. But isn't it weird that, like, like they're sewing ears onto pigs now to grow up, What if another pig came along and go, I ate that ear. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Listen, do you hear that? It's tough acting to act.
Tough acting. But you're right, Ken. Quality of life, even if it's tooth eye. Do I have to brush my eye? Is that the way that works?
Well,
You
yeah.
wouldn't want to floss it.
No. Can you pull some of this up? So the Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray is currently speaking. This is the announcement of the charges against the shooter of Charlie Kirk.
A more personal and intimate chord. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a father to two beautiful young children. He was a son, he was a brother, and a friend. Like all murders, the senseless and needless taking of Charlie Kirk's life has shattered the lives of those he loved and those who loved him. To Charlie's wife, Erica, his two young children, his parents, his family, and his friends, I express my sincere condolences and offer my heartfelt prayers on your behalf. I also want to express my concern for everyone who was at Charlie's Turning Point USA event at the Utah Valley University, and all who have been impacted by this tragedy. As county attorney, I am charged with bringing justice to those who offend our laws. I am charged with bringing justice for those who are harmed. I am charged with bringing justice for Charlie Kirk. I am committed to these aims. I take this responsibility seriously. Today, after reviewing the evidence that law enforcement has collected thus far, I am filing a criminal information charging Tyler James Robinson, age 22, with the following crimes. Count 1, aggravated murder, a capital offense, for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide. The state is also charging defendant with count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting. Count 5, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating texts. Count 6, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to stay silent if police questioned him. And count 7, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor, for committing homicide knowing that children were present and may have seen or heard the murder and did so based on Charlie Kirk's political expression. Also, following the press conference, I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime. Because we are seeking the death penalty, the defendant will continue to be held without bail in the Utah County Jail. Turning to the 10-page information, these are the allegations. On September 10th, 2025, at approximately 12:23 p.m., Charlie Kirk was shot and killed while speaking to a large crowd on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Police found the suspected murder weapon, a bolt-action .30-06 rifle, nearby. Over the next approximately 33 hours, police conducted a manhunt for the shooter until the evening of September 11th, 2025, when Tyler James Robinson surrendered to police at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. DNA consistent with Robinson was found on the rifle's trigger. After shooting Mr. Kirk, Robinson hid the gun, discarded the clothing he wore when he fired the rifle, and told his roommate to delete incriminating text messages and not talk to police. Children were present at the time of the shooting. The shooting. Turning Point USA, a nonprofit organization founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk, organized a public outdoor event to be held at noon on September 10th, 2025 at UVU. The event was the first in a series of similar events to be held at college campuses nationwide. Mr. Kirk is a well-known conservative activist famous for these type of events where he discusses various political issues and debates with audience members. His events and comments have garnered a significant number of supporters and drawn the ire of many who disagree with his political views. The event at UVU was announced far in advance and garnered significant publicity and interest. Consequently, several hundred people attended. Mr. Kirk was interacting with a crowd before the event officially got underway. Then, at approximately noon, Mr. Kirk seated himself under a portable canopy behind a table and microphone. He began speaking to the crowd and fielding questions from attendees, a format Mr. Kirk commonly used at his events. Mr. Kirk allowed his questioners to approach a microphone positioned directly in front of him. Mr. Kirk's team members were very close to him on his right and left, as well as some behind his canopy and others at various close locations near him. The large crowd surrounded Mr. Kirk on three sides. Temporary metal fencing separated attendees from Mr. Kirk by only a matter of feet.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here.
and
That right
behind
there
Mr.
is the DA announcing the charges on the shooter of the alleged shooter. Got to say that always of Charlie Kirk. And yes, they do have it's aggravated murder, and they do have the death penalty. Firing squad, I believe. I think it's that, and maybe lethal injection as well. But we'll have more of this coming up in a little bit. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Yeah, they're announcing those as we speak, and we'll go over them. But they're coming hard for him. I know they were trying to figure out a way to make it for the feds to take over, but then Pam Bondi, and they're like, no. He'd probably walk. This guy's a little nervous. Some of you are like, he's a little nervous. I mean, look, a week ago, nobody knew who this cat was. Now he's out there in front of the world, reading this stuff. And, that's not for everybody. He knows the world's out. I mean, because normally he walks into a room where there's something like this. There may be one or two reporters that he knows. Now he walks out there and there's 500 cameras. So I think he's probably got a little bit of, his wife put on the best tie, get him going there. And, now he's got obstruction of justice, witness tampering, a lot of other charges on top of everything else that they're charging with him. Somebody
He's
asked.
Probably looking at the biggest career of his case of his career.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. So very much there's no doubt about this. And he is, and again, we don't even know. I know that he's on suicide watch, that Tyler. That's all I don't really want to use his full name, but yeah, he's on suicide watch, you would think. And, but they're coming hard for him. And, with the aggravated murder, they have the death penalty. And I know and I'm not quite sure how they do the firing squad. It used to be, 5 guys, 4 bullets kind of thing, or whatever, 1 bullet. But now I'm not quite sure if it's that. I thought it was a machine, because everything's a machine now. It's a robot. It's a robot. It's a robot. So we'll have more. I mean, you got this, and then they dropped the terrorism charges in New York on Mangione, which was the one that was the most serious as far as, I think, going after him for the death penalty. But he still faces life in prison without parole, which is, again, we've got problems with young men in this country. We do. We got a serious issue with young men. They are not well in a lot of places. And the internet is not helping them. And groupthink also doesn't help any of this. So it's crazy, man. I'm telling you what, it's uncomfortable when I hear some young men talk nowadays, how the despair in their voice. You're going to say something?
Too many people looking for solace in collectivism.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly it. And it's also that solace. They're turning themselves into victims, right? They're making themselves victims to the world, and then they're getting around that collectivism, around each other to wallow in that.
Here's an interesting statistics I just looked up, because I'm trying to get an idea of, how large the Utah County District Attorney's Office is. That information is not available to me as from my searches so far. But according to the Utah Department of Health, Orem, Utah, where Charlie Kirk was assassinated, had a murder rate of 1.6 people per 100,000 people in 2023.
Holy moly.
So they don't do this a lot.
No, they don't. Trump's not moving the National Guard into there very fast.
No. So imagine what the pressure on these attorneys now. I mean, it's, there's a vast amount of evidence against this Tyler Robinson. But,
yes.
This district attorney general's office is not used to this kind of publicity.
No, not even. I mean, again, he looks nervous. They don't. This is not what they normally do. And like you said,
not his milieu.
Huh?
It's not his milieu.
It is not. And you think about it too. The people, Charlie wasn't from there, and the kid that did this allegedly, he wasn't from there either.
Right. There just happens to be a college in this county that has I think a student body of 40,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a small. I mean, I guess it might be a small campus relative to others, but 40,000 student body, that's pretty good size.
That is.
And I looked up the Orem, Utah Police Department, and I don't think I'm mistaken where they have 91 officers on staff.
That is. I'm looking at the Orem, Utah, the county attorney. You go to the website, it's him and a few other people. It's not like when you go to other ones, you're going to get 60 people on each site with their pictures. It's just him. So, yeah, you're right. We're not dealing with the DAs that you would see in New York and Los Angeles and San Francisco, even here. You're dealing with a staff where they're probably going to have to bring in help for a lot of this stuff. And you know what? If they're smart, they'll bring in some media help as well, where you help some of these people in dealing with the media, because the spotlight is about to grow in a major way here with DA Jeff Gray. All right, we've got more of this, a bunch of other stuff still to get to. We're still got our hot takes because we do that stuff here. It's what we do. It's who we are. Chad Benson Show, Super Dope, 997. So Kirk Shooter, charged, aggravated murder, a bunch of other stuff. He is facing a massive fight. They say they've got all kinds of information, and I'm sure they do.
Yeah, they rolled out a a list of texts back and forth between him and his love interest, which it looks like it's his roommate, where he admitted it was him.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out. Because originally it was they lived together, but then the parents are like, no, he lives here. So that was an odd thing.
It was cloudy. That was a cloudy fact.
Or he was living at both.
Yeah.
You'd be going back and forth.
Maybe. I mean, again, it's all of it is this is going to take a while to suss itself out. This is not going to be something easy. And we've already heard 50 different things from 50 different people in the way that they reported this thing. And we don't even know. He could confess, and plead guilty and do life in prison without the possibility of parole. Maybe. I don't. This is still going to be a ways away. I don't think this is going to be somewhere they're going to start the trial next week. This isn't like the old Westerns, right? Where they go right down to the saloon and have a trial, and then on Friday we're going to hang you.
Would they offer him a deal to avoid the death penalty? Imagine the backlash from that. Because there'd be some. I don't see. I'm no expert, but this evidence is massive.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean they got DNA.
Yeah, they've got it all.
It's still government, though, guys. Don't ever forget government's capacity to screw something up.
Well, that's true.
They're going to get there and they're like, oh my God, somebody forgot to read Mr. Miranda rights.
Wow.
I'm not saying, but there is a guy named Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't know. I mean, let's be real. If you ask anybody today, who killed Nicole Brown Simpson? Anybody?
Some Italian guys.
You think so? It was Cato. No.
Talking, man, that whole thing.
But when you think about it, is government. And I don't think they have anybody else out there. And I've heard a lot of stuff about, look, do I think there were issues with Charlie and his sway, especially when it came to the young, because he had pushed and gave a platform to people who, especially a younger group of people, when it came to Israel. And the younger MAGA crowd is America first, and they were not interested in supporting Israel. And they sure in the hell weren't interested in fearing that if they said something about not supporting Israel, that they were going to get in trouble for it. So, but do I think that they took him out? Did I think they activated this guy? No. I don't think any of that. Is it possible? Anything's possible. I mean, think about it. Let's just play the wacky world of what if. That we found out that, yes, Israel was involved in this. Then what do you think? What kind of relationship will we have at that point in time with Israel? Probably not a good one. And they're using us and abusing us right now. They look at us and say, we'll do whatever we want. And so, yeah, Charlie had ruffled some feathers. He was having some serious issues about what was going on in Palestine with the young and the innocent. He was having some serious issues that they were taking tons of our money and doing whatever they wanted over there. And he was pushing back more. And he brought up, I think it was on Patrick Bet-David's show, the questions about, hey, he said he had been there and you can't walk that wall and not see a 19-year-old with a machine gun every 10 yards. How is it that there was nobody there that day?
Did you see where the New York Post is saying that the older guy, George Zinn, that they had first arrested and he was the one yelling, "I have the right to free speech," at the shooting? Or yeah. I said, "I have the right to remain silent." He's now been charged with child exploitation because if he had child porn on his phone.
Well, didn't he also say he wanted to do that because he wanted the killer to get away? Is why he was screaming and yelling.
That's in the article, that he was trying to be a distraction to let the killer get away.
Well, then he's admitting to obstruction of justice, at least, I would think.
Yeah, I would think.
Whether he did it or not, who knows? He might just be a crackpot.
There's a lot of them out there. There is. There's a ton of crackpots out there, and it's a scary place to know that there are a lot of people wandering around who's, as we always say, the picnic basket, not full. The ride to the top, it ain't happening.
Well, I mean, it's a fact that sometimes in these mass killings, you have people come forward to, confess because they want attention. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. There are people like you will ask older detectives will say, yeah, this guy they'll confess to everything because, like you said, they want attention. And I think we've got a world now where normally shooters like this and shooters like Mangione, they want to go out. They're not there. Now they see the value, I think, in their mind of showing the world and sticking around and soaking up a bit of the glory for whatever that is, this new anti-hero world that young men are building, which is scary. Very scary. Because we got a lot of young men out there that are, the world, first of all, we started changing the way we taught 20 plus years ago, and young boys were nothing but trouble. We have pushed that narrative, and now we've got a very divided nation among our young when it comes to the gender divide, the political gender divide. And we've also got a young group of men who are grasping at stuff. And they're living in a world that is fringe, that is underground, and that is becoming very nihilist, very black-pilled. Very black-pilled. This is a lady who, she is a former naval officer, but she started talking about this the other day, and within a few hours, because we had touched on a little bit on my national show that, okay, all this stuff points to this and all this stuff points to that. It seems a little weird and convenient on some of this stuff, but there's also a bunch of stuff out there where you start looking around going, okay, well, what's happening with some of these people, these young kids in particular? And this is meme culture where we've talked about the incels. They hate the world. They feel women are against them. And if they can't get perfection, they want to destroy everything.
So you need to Google trans maxers and looks maxers in the incel community, because you guys keep trying to make it like a left issue or a right issue. These people are living outside of society in their own world. Like, you don't realize how many trans maxers are not the same as transgender. And like, that's going to be a huge thing.
And the whole trans max, look, I was up really early, and I was telling Belle this, talking to my little brother who's 26, soon to be 27, little sisters and all of them, they're back in California. And the world of gaming culture and this world of what is this like? It is a weird place because you have a lot of these, they're pissed and angry. And this looks maxing has been going on for a while. And it's like mewing and stuff. You guys probably have no idea what that is, but that's your urban word of the day. It is the strive for perfection in your looks. Okay, so the strive for perfection in such a way that they're willing to take a hammer to their face to try to break their cheekbones to make their cheekbones look better.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
It's absolutely it's deranged.
It's deranged. And they are living in a world where they feel that women hate them, and unless they look perfect and their genetics are perfect, nothing is ever going to go their way. Then they start to spiral out of control. And then, as Belle said, you've got a group of them now where 20 years ago, those guys were probably never meeting. Now, they got places to go.
Exactly.
And it's way bigger than, people think it's left and right, and it could be some of that, but we're ruling out the hate of so many of these young men who are becoming quote-unquote incels, who are falling into this trap where they're getting sucked into this culture that is underground and fringe, and they're in front of us, but we really don't see them. And the next thing you know, they're out there doing crazy stuff. And if it's not Charlie Kirk, it's driving down. I remember the first time the incel word popped up, this guy in Santa Barbara driving down the street and shooting people. And come to find out, well, he didn't like women because he couldn't get dates because he was too short.
Good grief.
And then you started hearing more and more and more and more about it.
Yeah, but you can compensate shortness with money.
We do know that. But, this, and a lot of people are asking serious questions about like he sees somebody like Mangione, shoots that guy, gets $1 million in donations. Women think he's great looking. He's pissed at the world, doesn't seem to have anything as far as his mind goes. Remember, this is in his mind. And lo and behold, and there's a darkness out there where you have too many young men who are falling into this trap. And we see it. How many times do we talk about young men are talking about the fact that they haven't dated, some of them for years. They're in their 20s and 30s, and they've not gone on a date in years. That is not healthy. It isn't. And they're building up this world where they're living in it, and they're getting angry, and they're getting pissed, and they're looking for reasons to get revenge. And so I'm telling you, there's a lot more to it than just that. This black-pilled kind of nihilist attitude is not just it's not just, it's this group or that group. There's a lot of young people out there who feel that way. That's scary.
The fact that some kids are going far enough to break their own bones so they can have a jawline
and their personality still doesn't improve.
No. But you're right, Ken. I mean, and if you've not seen these people, they will break. They want to have the square jaw.
Yeah.
They want to have that look like, Johnny Bravo from the cartoon where it's just, look at me, and the 30-inch waist and the 40-inch.
Yeah.
They want to look like Cheyenne from the TV show. And they can't get it. So then their frustration comes up, and it grows, and it grows, and then they're underground, and then misery and company together happen. And we got more to talk about this next hour. If you think it's just this, it's this, or it's that, or they were swayed, it's a lot more than I think a single issue where you look at something and say, it's just got to be this. Because we got a lot of young men hurting, and we need to have a serious conversation about that because they've not only been left behind, go look at colleges and education. They're feeling like they're getting left behind in everything. Let's talk a little bit more about that as well. A lot of other stuff. And it is Hot Take Tuesday, so we got your hot takes coming up as well. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Yeah, a lot of you asking questions about, we're going to get into it next hour a little deeper about all of this stuff with, we've got a real problem with young men in this country, and it's not just about the discipline. A lot of these kids are growing up in decent homes. And it's not about them going off to college. This kid went off to college for a semester or a year, took a year off, and he's been in trade school as an electrician. He started to lose himself when he thought he had no worth in what he looked like because we place so much of it. I don't think, we always talk about women and how the pressure to look great is, and on social media, there's plenty of pressure for men to look a certain way. I mean, we all can't be as handsome as the three of us, but what are you going to do?
We are pretty handsome.
Yeah. Well, the difference is we came from a time when you could have a little game. You could talk to people.
Yeah. Well, and on a serious note, remember during the COVID lockdowns when all these kids had to then put their face on their computer screens for school? I think that led to a lot. I mean, kids are you're already anxious about your looks. And then that.
Yeah.
I think that really pushed a lot of kids into dark places.
And you're sitting on a Zoom call with everybody else's face, and you're doing A/B, and
right.
It's
mom and dad are at work or whatever, and they're not there to explain to you why you don't have to worry about that.
I mean, it's when we were young and we'd have a pimple, we're like, oh my God, I got a pimple. Yeah, it's a different world now.
It is, man. It absolutely is, because kids, take for instance, severe acne, they get excoriated on social media.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it.
No. We said our bullies, right? When we were kids, man, your bully ends at 3.
Right. You're done.
You're done. Not anymore. Your bully can go 24/7, 365. And for young men out there, we've got a serious problem, and we've got a problem with the young across the board. And so a lot of people are looking, this guy's this, or they want to point to this or that. Maybe there's a lot more to it that we're not looking at, because everybody's wanting to be right on the political side rather than looking at the humanitarian side. Is there more of him out there?
Oh, man.
And think about this. Not Charlie Kirk, but walking into a store one day and doing something.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Bunch of other stuff straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.